In this presentation, we demonstrate crypto-metaprogramming, an alternative approach to model view controller, the conventional architecture for web-based application. Apple TV production of Isaac Asimov Foundation series would best illustrate Omni Web, crypto-metaprogramming and Metanarchy, a global governance ecosystem based on decentralized transactions in the metaverse. We may draw parallels between crypto-metaprogramming and psychohistory, as the crucial science that Hari Seldon invented to save the galactic empire. Omni Web is equivalent to the Foundation, as the organization that utilizes psychohistory to achieve its mission, that is to establish Metanarchy, as the parallel to the restored order of the empire. This web page is hosted at Omni Web GitHub page whose address is omniaxtar.github.io/edge/?CTX=. The top part of this web page is the OmniHash module, which generate a hash code that can be used as a decentralized user identifier. The bottom part of this web page is just a simple survey form using Survey.js JavaScript library. It is called crypto-metaprogramming because the OmniHash module, which generate the hash code user identifier, provides the decentralized cryptographic security functions. The web page produces a JSON string as _up containing the user hash, seen here as the edge key in the JSON string, with the value edge0zq-lxvq ==, and the result of Survey.js form as the R key in the JSON string, with first name John 2025 and last name Smith August 7th. In the conventional model view controller programming, data from the front end is sent via AJAX protocol using as SSL secure sockets layer or TL as transport layer security. However, the programmer has no control over the public and private key pair used in AJAX protocol. Hence the conventional AJAX model is a centralized scheme. In Omni Web crypto-metaprogramming, the programmer or user will have full control over the front-end web environment, and will be able to generate their own public and private key pair, which will not be shared with the server, hence making it a truly decentralized application architecture. The JSON string containing the OmniHash user identifier and the survey form results will be sent to a PHP server via ngrok tunnel service with the address saved in variable as _URL. We used Internet Tunnel Services to bypass DN as domain name system, as this is a crucial step in creating a truly decentralized web ecosystem. In a previous video, we demonstrated I2P Invisible Internet Project, which is a decentralized tunnel service without a centralized owner like ngrok. The JSON string shown earlier was the output of this web page. We will now show the steps how it was produced. After loading the web page by entering the address at omniaxtar.github.io and so on, scroll to the bottom to fill in the first name and last name fields shown on the web page. Here we have John 2025 as the first name and Smith AUG7 as the last name. Survey.js library is rather sophisticated as it has many features that we will not elaborate here, except to show that we may access the form data simply with the variable survey.data as shown. Next, scroll up the page and press the button marked with the text OmniHash. This will execute the code as shown that generates the output JSON string. In line 424, several key value pairs including key edge for hash and key R for survey data are packed into JSON string variable as _up. We call this dJSON decentralized JSON as the hash code within gives it decentralized properties. Now we may save the decentralized JSON locally or remotely by pressing the Save button and choose L for local and R for remote. Choosing L for saving locally will bring up a prompt for password to encrypt the private key, as the private key should not be saved without encryption. Pressing the Save button again and choosing R for remote will create a connection to Omni Web server via the ngrok tunnel address as explained previously. In this example, we sent the JSON string data to the remote server as a gzipped-based 64 string using edge TTP GET method. Viewers with a critical mind may notice that we have not applied additional encryption such as public key cryptography or RSA algorithm for the data transfer. We omit this step for now to leave it as an exercise for viewers to work out, as we will make another video to explain the relationships of public key cryptography and decentralized login method. Finally, we will show how the server saves the JSON string data using simply Linux file system with hash codes as directory and file names, instead of using database systems such as MySQL. As mentioned earlier, the user identifier using OmniHash is EDGE0ZQ-LXVQ == and it is now used as a directory name. The JSON string is saved in a file with a hash code file name that is FPM3EGCYOW ==. For the sake of completeness, as a concluding lesson we shall demonstrate how to mimic IX protocol for sending public key encrypted data from web frontend to PHP backend. Omni Web functions shown in this video are imported to the web application by including omni.js script file. Upon invocation, a pair of public key and private key are generated and stored in global variable as 0.k. The public key is stored in variable as 0.k.pair.public key. In AJAX protocol or similar methods employing public key cryptography, a message is encrypted using the public key. Then the ciphertext or encrypted message is sent over the network and decrypted using the private key. Here the JSON string is encrypted using the public key and the output is stored in variable E0. E0 is converted to base 64 string before being sent from the front-end web environment to the back-end. Now we have come to a point where we will employ metaprogramming, that is the other component of crypto-metaprogramming. Skipping the part where the base 64 ciphertext is sent from the web front-end to the back-end, as this is obvious to most programmers with 6 months experience, we will now copy the base 64 ciphertext as the input to fos.php Crypto-Metaprogramming shell, which simplifies the decryption procedure from 1 or 2 pages of source code to just 1 line. FOSCrypt is derived from Forth programming language, spelled FORTH, invented in 1968 by Charles Moore. It uses the reverse polish notation and stack machine architecture, which magically enables it to be ported to any modern programming languages as host programming language. Viewers may refer to one of our previous videos for details, but suffice to say each word used in the command shown here is mapped to a function in a host programming language. For example, B64D is for decoding base 64 encoded string, RSA is to create encryptographic handle, TMP/E_PVK.PEM is the file containing the private key string, FGC is PHP file get contents function, LKey is to load the private key string into working memory, swap is to swap the order of the items on the stack, and IDCR is RSA decrypt and as is to show the stack, where the last item is the decrypted message, that is the JSON string as shown. The primary algorithms used in crypto-metaprogramming, namely hash functions, public key cryptography and Forth programming languages, were invented as far back as the 1970s. By the 1990s, public key cryptography had been declassified and popularized in SSH, secure shell. Imagine what would have happened if Omni Web crypto-metaprogramming was popularized at the same time as SSH in the 1990s, instead of MARGA centralized cloud computing that had dominated our current historical timeline. In our current historical timeline, the total revenues of top 5 tech companies, namely Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, Google and Apple in 2024 nearly reached $1.8 trillion. If Omni Web crypto-metaprogramming was popularized together with SSH secure shell in the 1990s, the revenues of $1.8 trillion may be shared by 100 other companies around the world. Ecosystems of software tools based on crypto-metaprogramming may be much simpler. Instead of the 2 GB minimum Android Studio plus additional gigabytes of Node.js modules per Hello World level applications, we may have Python-type small footprint modules across various platforms, further simplified by Forth FOSCrypt metaprogramming scripts. Apple TV production of Isaac Asimov Foundation series would best illustrate Omni Web. Crypto-Metaprogramming and Metanarchy, a global governance ecosystem based on decentralized transactions in the metaverse. We may draw parallels between crypto-metaprogramming and psychohistory, as the crucial science that Hari Seldon invented to save the galactic empire. Omni Web is equivalent to the Foundation, as the organization that utilizes psychohistory to achieve its mission, that is to establish Metanarchy, as the parallel to the restored order of the empire. We find it easier to relate the ideas of Omni Web, crypto-metaprogramming and Metanarchy to newbies simpleton using Asimov Foundation and psychohistory, because Asimov's fictional universe can be readily used to describe new ideas that are unheard of, but with many similarities. Patriotic Americans may sneer at Foundation's psychohistory as blasphemy as it is unchristian. And to claim anything but Jesus himself who may save the world is equally blasphemous and un-American and shall be deemed the enemy of the United States. However, Omni Web do not need patriotic Americans to believe in crypto-metaprogramming and Metanarchy, as long as they become users of Omni Web applications, just like how they use other social media and internet applications. The issues arising as mentioned above can be divided into conceptual stage and implementation stage. We are now in the conceptual stage, attempting to draw parallels between Omni Web and Asimov's Foundation, so that hopefully everyone may understand its goals and benefits, in order to recruit programmers, users and investors, as English is the most convenient language to communicate and to be translated to other languages, despite patriotic Americans who may regard Omni Web as a threat to national security. In the implementation stage, patriotic Americans being the largest and richest segment of users may play a crucial role for quick growth of Omni Web, unless Omni Web take the path of TikTok by growing its user base in China. Let us create a metafiction for comparing Palantir, Omni Web and Asimov's Foundation, to illustrate how technology organizations may shape the future of societies. We choose Palantir as it is patriotic Americans' model company, who supports Zionist genocide in Palestine and ultimately aims to establish a greater Israel spanning from the river to the sea. Average patriotic Americans may not be aware that one of the most threatening sanctions Trump imposed on China is the export of top-grade graphical processing units from NVIDIA. What Omni Web aim to achieve via promoting crypto-metaprogramming include imposing open-source tax on American technology companies which use significant amount of open-source projects. Crypto-metaprogramming enables the creation of a new kind of legal persona that is beyond the jurisdictions of existing nation-states, and further enables them to collect taxes from companies operating in existing nation-states, as with the example of open-source tax. These decentralized legal personas form the basis of Metanarchy, a global governance system based on decentralized transactions in the metaverse. In this video, we briefly covered an introductory example of using crypto-metaprogramming together with Survey.j's library to produce decentralized JSON string for storing on remote server, as an alternative to the conventional centralized model view controller architecture for web application development. In the closing section, we compare crypto-metaprogramming to psychohistory in Isaac Asimov's Foundation series, where we claim crypto-metaprogramming may have the power of changing the course of history, being a deterrent to American hegemony outside North America. This 15-minute video is only intended as an introduction to Omni Web and crypto-metaprogramming and how they may achieve Metanarchy. Subsequently, we shall explore various topics in depth, and we hope this could be a self-fulfilling prophecy in the form of metafiction, with visions of the scale of Karl Marx's Communist Manifesto and Isaac Asimov's Foundation expanded universe.